Skype. Okay. So in theory, if it's streaming correctly, everyone's seeing us. So let's check out Twitch. Make sure it's streaming. The fact that there's nobody chatting makes me unsure, but it looks like it's working. Okay, so Twitch is working, and then... Oh, there you go. Hey, Vince.
The YouTube one seems to be waiting, so pretty much like last time.
Restream, you're killing me. Because I know most people are using YouTube these days instead of Twitch. Oh, YouTube is okay, says Alpha Developer. Hey. I just want to see it actually pop up to make sure it's the right YouTube. Yep. We're live. Hey. Okay, cool. Well, hello, everybody.
I'll post the link in the scheduled one.
Perfect. Thank you. Wait, is it not the scheduled one that went out again?
At least there is one where 18 people are in the chat.
Oh, my goodness.
So, seems like we have 2 streams on YouTube again.
I don't understand. Like, YouTube and Restream are killing me here. So this is the link I sent out right here. Yep, waiting for Matt Stauffer. Oh, my goodness. Vince says I got you, so I'm going to assume that he's going to go in there in the chat and tell everybody. This is so frustrating. Yeah, powered by Restream. Powered by Restream, sending everybody to the wrong place. Second stream in a row. All right. I'm going to go see if I can edit the description on that one so that if people come later, because I don't think if they come later, I don't think they see the chat. So
yeah.
Let me put it in the actual description. Woof, woof, woof.
Speaking about switching services, huh?
Yep. All right, so the new one, the new URL. Thanks, Vince. Wow, my computer's being super slow right now. Okay, so I found the new URL. I've copied it, and I'm now going to go to the old URL, and I'm going to very slowly edit the description. Say edit video. Sorry, everybody. I don't want to lose a whole bunch of people to that other stream for ages. Hey,
yeah,
Benjamin.
I also posted it in the chat.
Yeah, the only problem is the chat. I feel like if somebody comes later to YouTube, do they see the previous chat messages? Maybe they do.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit edit video real quick. Hey, Egance and Mayanel _. We're just trying to make sure that everybody. Don't forget to read the old one later. Sometimes it hangs there all day. Okay, thanks, Draman. All right, finally gotten there. Failed stream. Move to this URL instead. Hey, Jonas. So sorry for yet another Restream fail.
On the screen, or are you doing this on a different screen?
The chat or what I'm doing right now?
What you're doing right now.
What I'm doing right now, I'm doing another screen. Didn't even think about it. But once we refresh here, we should see.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Lee. Okay, failed stream, move this URL instead. So hopefully anybody that goes over there will click on that one. So, all right, we are back. Hey, everybody. Sorry about yet another flub from Restream, but we'll get it figured out. I'm back with my friend Marcel with a fancy, I don't know if it's fancy new haircut, but it feels new to me because I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. So,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it looks great. I just cut my hair in my little COVID hair studio, also known as my bathroom. So I'm feeling very fresh and fancy as well. Hey, Robin. So today we are picking back up on the same work that we did last stream, which both of us took a little moment to refresh ourselves on, which was basically we like the idea of a site where instead of when Valet 404s, you would get like a fallback site that you could see. So that was one thing. And then we discovered, I think what we discovered right before the last stream was that existed already. Wasn't that it?
Right, yeah.
Oh, crud. The Livestreams is pointing to the other one too. Fun. Okay. Can anybody just tag whoever's, I don't know if it's Christoph or whatever, but can someone tag whoever's doing Livestreams to this new YouTube URL on Twitter for me? Hey, Jeroen. Ben, I don't know why you just see black screen because I think it's working for everybody else. Hey, Joe. Hey, Muzaffar. So I think if, okay, cool. Great. So basically the original idea was for us to build it so you could set up a fallback site for Valet, and then we learned that actually existed already, but it had gotten accidentally lost because it was pull requested the docs right before Laravel pushed a new version, so it got lost. So we added it to the docs. So we do have the easy ability, I can't even remember what the syntax is, for you to do like a fallback site. So what we had done was we just went to my particular Valet and we just made it to be fallback.test. And then we wanted to be able to get data in that site where you could actually like learn out, thanks Vince, you can learn all the kind of like list of the sites you have. So we built out the ability to require Valet into an application, which is not really meant to be done that way, but that's how we did it, so that you can actually get a list of all your link sites, all your park sites, and then we mapped each of those into a PHP class called site and then built that PHP class out a little bit. So we had a few plans. Thanks for following, Nerdtub. We had a few plans for what we're going to do this time about how to make it useful. So we talked about like a nice UI for this fallback page. Maybe, I don't remember what we were talking about here. This just so it doesn't require editing config.json. Maybe the whole fallback thing doesn't actually have a command.
Right.
Is that what it is?
You need to edit the config.json and add a default key.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that's probably not the best use of our time today. Let's do some fun things with the data now that we have it. Unless would that be really fun for you, Marcel, to work on?
No.
Okay.
Doing something with the data is more fun, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then we also had some ideas around like what if I had every single time I open up my computer, what would I want to potentially be able to do other than see all the sites I have linked, see which ones are secure, and we talked about maybe it's a Laravel new button or something else like that. So let me go really quickly so we can now go to the episode notes for today and have a nice blank thing. So build out a nice UI for the fallback site. Thanks for following Rule Roel. All right, so this is what we have right now, which is so I just realized I got to make sure. Okay, yeah. I think I was doing some kind of filtering or something so that you couldn't see all of my client sites here. So this fallback site we were working on, let's just look at our main page and see what we're actually doing with there. Right, so this is what happened. Instead of showing you all the park sites, we only showed the park sites filtered down here, so you're not seeing all my clients there, which would maybe feel better. Dismiss. Okay, cool. By using Tailwind CSS and Alpine JS. Not sure what you mean by that. You mean to build a nice one? If so, sure. But first, we just got to figure out what we would actually want it to look like. So here's what we did. We built this thing called Valet Site. And Valet Site is, oh no, this is the one actually from Valet itself. We just imported it. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're using to actually get those lists. So Site itself, has a links method, and it's got a parked method. And so each of those basically give us the full list of all of the linked paths and the full list of all of the parked paths. And then you can see for each of these, after doing a little bit of filtering and joining by path, which is the whole point where if you have like multiple URLs multiple URLs pointing to the same folder, we want them all to be grouped, and then we get this site object. And a site object is what we were doing all of our work with, imagining, well, what would we want to ask of a certain site? So we can figure out what driver it's working with, we can get its composer file, its minimum PHP version, and I do think we wanted to have the links, right? And it looks like we have not actually made the links available. So maybe the first thing we can do is just imagine, like, what would we want the user interface to actually look like if you're looking at any given site? So let's see. Do we actually have a view set up for that already from last time? Question mark?
I don't think we created one.
Okay. Yeah. So, Marcel, I bet you, as someone who's thought a lot about Valet-based user interfaces, have some ideas about how to build this thing out. Why don't you either think or maybe even talk to the people about what your ideas would be there, while I kind of try to. Well, actually, first of all, if you're building a web-based tool using Tailwind and Alpine and most modern stuff, what's your template look like? Because what I've historically done is I've always just done PHP artisan make auth, and then I just kind of like that way I've got all my dependencies and stuff like that. But I know that there's now like so many more things that you can bring in. We don't need auth right now, right? But I do want like a nice HTML5 based fallback that has all the things built in. Do you just build it from scratch, or what is your way of doing that these days?
I think my way is I'm basically just copying it from existing projects.
Me
I
too.
think because like the latest landing page, and then I just take it from there.
I'm trying to think about what the most recent thing I built was, but yeah, it's the same for me for sure. What is the most recent site I built that has Tailwind? Zool says it didn't work with the scheduling. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for following Tsanet. Okay, well, let's just let's see. Are there a good one to copy from? Does anybody have a nice light site you've built recently? Yeah, that's definitely not it. What is going on there, Adam? Those numbers. What is happening there? I don't know. Okay, cool. Tailwind UI. No, I literally just want like the HTML. Like in the old days, we would use HTML5 boilerplate, but that's not what I want right now.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to go to like Nova packages. That's not something I built recently, but I'm sure we can just grab some useful stuff out of here. So, okay, cool. It's using Livewire, so it's not perfect. Hey, Michael says finally. Okay, cool. So we'll go into our welcome blade.php, and we'll grab this. And what do we not want? I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. CSRF token, title, your sites. We can drop the OG for now. So actually, interesting. This one's not actually doing anything interesting at all. I mean, okay, so we've got Alpine. So let's do the what's it called? Laravel Tall preset, maybe. Somebody released a just-in-time Tailwind thing yesterday, and it was super interesting. And so I'm going to go check that out, and we're going to just use just-in-time Tailwind directly from the CDN. And it's right...
Are you also using Tailwind from CDN quite a lot, or is it just me?
I don't because well, for all my new sites I do, but I eventually always don't because I need to extract and customize things. But I always start that way. Yes. So, so if I didn't follow you on Twitter, can you tell me about this thing real quick while Matt imports it?
Sure. So this is basically the new just-in-time mode that Tailwind has, where you can add like arbitrary values in classes, like pixel values and stuff like that. And it works just like a CDN. So you just drop in the script, and this is then basically watching the HTML. So you can also use your dev tools to add classes on the fly. And then the JavaScript basically watches the HTML, strips out all the Tailwind classes, and then generates the CSS and injects it into the site.
Which
Unless
is freaking
it's not
magical.
working now, because who knows? But it should work.
We'll see. But the idea is freaking magical. So I'm already just super excited to get a chance to use it. Man, nope. Yeah, here you go. It's working.
Yeah.
So so let me try to remember. We got MX Auto, MY2, and so is it basically running, what's it called, in the browser, running PostCSS in the browser?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically exactly what Tailwind is running.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other solutions similar to this one, which are more lightweight, because this one now pulls in PostCSS and Tailwind completely. But all the existing solutions do all the parsing and reading the Tailwind classes in some other way. So it's not really compatible with the latest. If there's a new Tailwind version, I can just drop this in.
Right. Very cool. So does this, if I were to want a new Tailwind version, are you going to like add versions of this?
My idea right now is to just pull in the latest Tailwind version and then tag a new release for this. Yeah.
Got it.
So right now it's 101, and then
All right. So if you were to imagine, as someone who's done this before, that we were to build out this, what would be the first things you would do? I know that we've got the name of the site, but we've also got more than one links, right? More than one link. So we've got this idea of like basically a sub array. So this would be for each site links, which I don't think we have programmed yet, but I'm sure it's going to be easy. As link. And in general, link is probably just going to be like a path, right? It's probably not like an object of its own. So for anybody who doesn't know from last time, thanks for following Muad Ziani. Hey, Nico. Hey, Joel or Joel. So if you imagine that, like, by default, if you park Valet in a directory, every single directory under that directory gets served as its name. So if I were to make my site as a directory, then my site.test becomes available. But sometimes you want to point multiple links to that same site. You might, for example, want to point subdomains. So abc.mysite, def.mysite. And so each of those is called a link. So even when you park something, it's really theoretically generating a single link, right? You have one site that has one link, but everything can have one or more links. So all this UI and all the data structures we want to build here have the idea that any site could have one or more links. So that's what we're going to build here. So you've got your site name, and then you've got all the individual links that might point towards it, and then probably other useful stuff. So I would just say right now, let's just kind of like see what we get here, because I don't think we're going to get a... I don't think links even exists as a thing, right?
Yeah, we don't have that yet.
Yeah, I'm curious why it gave that error, though. Undefined array key, blade compiler. I don't know. It's fine.
Compiles loops. So
yeah. Will you do the did you mean blah, blah, blah test? That's a fantastic idea. We talked about it last time. Let's put it on our notes. Suggest did you mean xxxxx dot test if it's a similar name. Oh, thanks, Andy. I missed my at for each in the thing. Yep, for each and for each. Thank you so much, Andy Hinkle. Nice to see you, man. All right, site name. All right, so let's get site to the point. All right, so these are just the methods versus versus properties, which we could change later, but right now let's just keep them all as methods. Thanks, Egants. All right, call to find on method links, which is fine. So we did stub out some tests last time. I did say that while I like writing tests, I didn't want to, I didn't want to write tests on the stream because every time I do that, it feels a little bit slower than I want for a stream that needs to be fast. So, but I want to stub out every single test that I'd normally write. So this one is interesting because we have this concept of link test, but it's weird because we don't even have an object called a link. Oh, we do. Oh, so we did differentiate the idea of links, and we didn't finish that. So let's talk about that as a thing we're going to do. For each site, make a link object for each link accessible via the links method. Okay, cool. So we do not have that, right? So we built out this whole thing where it's got the site, it's got whether or not secured. Okay, so a link is not just a, it's actually an object. So let's see what
object, yeah.
So it would be URL path. I guess we name it and then link it to the URL.
What's actually the name?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious of. I feel like it's maybe just the slug name of the folder or something.
Yeah.
Although I don't know whether we've actually
but that wouldn't that always be the same because it's a link?
Yeah. Well, your YouTube link on Twitter is broken. Don't know if it's been mentioned. You know what? It was. That's a great point. We did fix it, but I didn't retweet the new URL. So I didn't tweet the new URL. So let me go do that real quick. Thank you so much, Chris, for the reminder. While I do that, Marcel, please feel free to share any ideas you have for what this site can do or anything else that you think would be fun.
I guess haven't we already started with the link object here? There on line 16. So we already map the links array to the object. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Commercial break.
Commercial break.
All right. Tweeted out the updated link. Okay. Thanks, Chris. All right, so you were absolutely right. So we already have it, and we even pull the name from link's first name. Great.
Right.
So if we
So we just
go
need the links method.
Yeah, so site is the site, which I don't know what that is. Secured is whether or not secured. URL is the URL. Path is the path. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just go look at what they are and see if that gives us something interesting. So first thing we need to do is just to get access to one of them, right? So we have links saved as a protected thing. So we just need a links object or a method. All right, and then we don't need that. We don't need that right now. So that's okay. So for each of these links, we've got a URL and we've got a name, but I also just kind of want to, I don't think we have Ray on this one right now, so I think I'm just going to die and dump link. Stauffer says, yeah, you did a bunch of link things last time. Totally had forgotten about that. All right, I made a typo when I was building that out. I forgot a semicolon. That's weird. Oh, I must not have hit save the second time. My computer's being really slow. It's weird. It's an iMac. It usually doesn't struggle from streaming, but today it is struggling. All right, so site is Symposium. URL is symposium.test. So it doesn't wait, what is name even? Name is site. Okay, that's why. So the name property is like the slug. I'm not a big doc block kind of guy, but let's do it. Return the folder name /slug. E.g. Symposium. And then...
Okay, so this will always be the same for each link, right?
Yeah, all links will have the exact same... Oh yeah, great point. This will be the same for every link on the same site. All right, so then URL is the fully qualified URL, which I think has the... Yep, it even has the correct e.g. And then this is probably the fully qualified path. Hey, Jason. Yep. Well, it's not called fully qualified. What do you call it? The absolute path.
Absolute, yeah.
No Taylor Owl style comments. And then this is... I never remember if I'm supposed to capitalize the primitives. Are we supposed to capitalize them? No, right?
No.
Okay, thanks. And then this one would be the whether the site is secured. Okay. So there might be some interesting things we can do. Hey, out. I don't know how to say that. There might be some things we can do later with also with share. So let's add that to our things to explore. Explore interesting /fun ideas around Valet share ? Or expose ? Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back here. So we now have a link. We've got the name and we got the URL. Wow, this is going slow. Okay, cool. So let's see what we got here. Oh, what's the Tailwind style that brings back like normal link lists?
Isn't list style disk, I guess?
Yeah,
I thought just one bad one, or is there something that's more...
I thought there was one that brought in the other stuff.
Just,
but yeah. It's, you know what we could do? We can do what is the thing that brings in all like the typography styles? Oh, you probably can't do plugins with just in time, right?
You can, but it's a bit slow because you need to have a module script tag, and then those get deferred when being loaded, so the plugin gets loaded later on.
Okay. Well,
so the layout always jumps. So yeah, that doesn't work that good.
Stauffer says there's a list normal, which I don't think I knew about. Are you sure about that? No, I don't see it. Okay. So we got list disk and we got a margin left. So let's at least do that. Wow, this is going slowly. Sorry, y'all. I just need to figure out if there's something that's going to make this not be so slow for the rest of this. Let's see. Is there anything I can turn off here? Telegram off, Discord off, iMessage off, BusyCal off, Mailplane off, Firefox off. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Oh, it's just the combination of Skype and OBS. All right, again, next time we won't be using Skype, so we'll see. pros for the typography plugin. Jonas says, is the plan to make something similar to Vue UI as the default page without plugins and all that jazz? What is Vue UI? Do you mean Valet UI, Jonas? Toss your Intel out the window. Yeah. I should be doing this on my M1 laptop and see if that's any better. All right.
It probably is.
It probably is, yeah, to be honest. Okay, so yeah, we have multiple things that are looking ugly. We might go to pros, list none and normalize the listings. Okay, yeah, no worries. So I just realized we've got links and links, and they all need, or we got lists and lists. Less disk.
Right.
And then this has no class. But this is the beauty of Tailwind plus plus Marcel's JIT CDN thing. It's pretty freaking magical. Do you think that the JIT running in my browser is part of what's feeling slow here? Have you noticed it slowing your browser down at all?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
But do you see it in the activity monitor? That's Chrome?
No, that's actually a great point. It wasn't Chrome. It's Skype helpers using 150% CPU and OBS is using 133% CPU.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, also Backblaze is backing up. That we can stop. Backblaze, pause backup. There we go. That'll help. You could add ML6 to UL tag instead of LI. That's how I do. Yeah, that works too. Okay, cool. So we've got linked sites, symposium links. Okay, so let's what was I going to just change there? Oh yeah, so linked can be LinkedIn parked. I'm wasting too much time in styles. Sorry, everybody. Text XL MT4, something like that, and then yeah, good enough for now. All right, so for each of these, we've got these links that we want to actually look like a link. Texts, something like that. Okay, so we've got those. All right, so for each of them, and let's do the same thing for parked, and we'll probably extract this out. Actually, let's just make a component real quick. So resources, views, components, and then site in list.blade.php, and then come here and we'll grab that. And x site in list site equals site. That's how to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, cool. So now we can do the same thing here. Well, that's wrong somehow. It looks like it's closing the UL or something like that. Oh, it looks like it's missing a closing brace.
Right.
All right, cool. So we've got this. It's ugly, but it's doing the basics of the job. So what is the next most interesting thing for us to do on this? We've got links to all of them. We could talk about if they're secured or not. We can add buttons that actually trigger certain things, right? Like we can trigger a secure this site, share this site kind of thing. Have you thought about at all like what a layout would be for this? Because obviously we're just stubbing up the layout, but like...
I mean, I started working on this Electron app, which basically does what we're doing now. So I kind of have an idea of what I at least wanted it to look like.
Do you want to share what that looks like, or I don't want to steal your work there, basically. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to like make this. Okay.
I think that once we have this in the fallback, you don't necessarily need like an Electron app for this.
Okay.
Where can I send this? I actually had to Google it from my own Twitter profile.
I love it. Jonas, would you send me a link to a screenshot of what the Vue UI looks like so we can use that as a reference point too? Oh, cool. I don't know if I can actually copy from there, but I'm just going to literally... Oh, maybe it did show me that because you put it in the chat. Was that what that was? Oh, it was.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it was in the chat.
All right, like it. Oh, beautiful. Here we go. All right, so what you did was gave us more of a list, and then each item in the list has a nice little show page for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and yes, this is so similar to what we were doing. I definitely, I'm sure that this inspired my brain in the back from thinking about this thing in the first place. So would it make more sense? So I think one of the things with Electron is like you really want it to be nice and tight and compact, whereas I think with this one we're going to have a little bit more breathing room. Do you think it would make more sense to try and build everything into each item in the list, or does it make more sense that because most people are going to have like a jillion, we probably should keep it the same way you had before where you click it to expand it? Nico literally just said, does anyone else have way too many sites linked and parked? And perhaps adding a quick filter might be useful. That's an interesting idea too. We are operating based on not my full list of linked and parked. So I do wonder whether it's worth me temporarily adding a few more.
I think it depends on what we want to do in the stream. Like, do we want to work on the UI, or do we want to, like
That's
add
a
a button
question.
that
I would rather be not
or
working on the UI right
unsecures
now and instead be working on functionality. So great call. Let's just do the features and great call, my friend. All right, so we're going to not add 1 million of them. So let's add any ideas we just had as later things in Notion. So things to do later, make it easy to filter down to a certain site, e.g. type / and then start typing. Okay. And then also consider design inspiration from Vue UI and Marcel's Electron app, which I will then link. Awesome. Great thinking, my friend. Okay, so things we could do are the secure button. Add a secure button. Add a Valet share. Well, I don't know if we can add a Valet share button because you actually need the Valet share thing to be running in your terminal, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that doesn't make as much sense. So maybe we'll just do a secure button for now. All right. Don't worry. Someone will come across with a PR to introduce a machine learning custom design system. I love it. Melkus says, what resolution are you running? My full screen resolution is something bigger than what we're actually sharing. So I don't actually know what we're sharing right now. I can tell you real quick just for curiosity and then get back to coding. This is default for display and a built-in Retina display. So whatever that is. And then we're sharing about 2/3 of that. Okay, cool. So, so for each of these, we want to add... Go ahead.
If the secure button will actually work, but like I added it in the Electron app, and the thing is that there's like a command which is called Valet trust or something like that, where later on you don't need to provide your password, and I mean, we can figure out, but I don't know if we can like use something like Symfony process to trigger this Valet secure command and then provide it. I mean, we would basically need to ask for the password or hope that Symfony process is doing it behind the scenes. I don't know how that works.
No, that's a fantastic question, because I think that the trust command for Valet adds something to your sudoers, but I don't know if that's going to be the same thing that your process runs as. Easy way to know though is to go try it out, right? Let's go see. And if not, I know the maintainer of Valet, and we might be able to get them to to add something in to make this easier for us, as long as it's still safe and secure. Thanks, Nico. I just added those to the to-do list. Okay, cool. So, and also we might be able to say, is it trusted? Never mind. Let's not worry about that right now. Okay, so let's just add a button for secure here. And then we're just going to have to figure out what the user interface would be. But let's make sure we actually have is secure. I think it might just be named secured. Okay, secured.
Yeah.
All right, so if it's secure, if it's not secured, then, then give a secure button. Okay, cool. So all of these are registering as not secured. Interestingly, though, we wouldn't secure... You're securing a link So it'd actually have to be on the link, not on the site. So let's just throw it after the link. And then...
Do we always have a link?
Yeah. Even when it's just
Okay.
parked, you always get a link. Jonas, I will just copy that URL right now and... Oh, it's going to start Firefox again, which I closed a bit ago. Sorry. I will copy that URL and put it in our Notion notes for next time. Thank you. I like your GitHub mug, by the way, Marcel.
It was a Christmas present from my wife.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got my Laravel podcast mug because it's one of my favorites. So it's fun to be going to stream like, what shirt am I going to wear? What mug am I going to use? All right, so we've got the secure button in Symposium. So interestingly, that means Symposium.test is secured, but Symposium app, which I just added last time, is not. Yep. So that's great. So it is doing the job.
Okay, cool.
So in theory, we can add an unsecure if we want. But right now, let's just figure out what it's going to look like to generate this process. So for now, let's just imagine that we've got a URL for every site. No, we need a URL for every link, right? And a link doesn't actually have a unique ID. So it feels like it might have to just be like a query parameter.
You secured the URL, right?
Yep.
Or no.
It's got to be the URL.
Yeah, but
right. You're right. Because link has
fully qualified. I don't think the fully qualified URL.
But I don't think we have anything else on the link, right? We've got the site name, which is the same for all of them.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we need to give it like a slug, and that slug is what we're going to use to uniquely identify it. Like, does that maybe make sense to you?
I'm just currently thinking, what do you call in the terminal to secure a link?
Oh, that's a great question, because I don't actually know that. I love DuckDuckGo, but it's not always the best for technical searches. Because I know you do Valet. Oh, here you go. You can actually pass in the host name afterwards.
So for a link, we would have to strip that out of the URL.
Yep, exactly. Which is why I was thinking the slug would be helpful, right? So this is the... What does he call? What do we call it here? Host name, I think. Yes, host name. Host name. Sans. Okay. So it's not the same as this. It's going to be stripped out of the URL. So we're basically going to return Matt's the fastest Googler in the West. So we're going to return something that's basically stripping off HTTP or HTTPS and then stripping off the slash and then the .test. So what is the fastest way we can do that?
There's parse URL. So
parse URL takes the URL and then it's going to give us an array, right?
Yeah, or you can pass a component as the second parameter if you only want one piece of... Yeah, right.
Yeah, so do you know the parse URL options off the top of your head?
No.
All right, so parse URL, it's going to have a whole bunch of constant flags, right? And we probably want host is probably it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's see if we call slug somewhere and then do a die and dump on it. So this would be... so we want to do sites dot secure, I guess. It's not really RESTful, but oh well. And then we'll just do site slug right now. And then...
Link, not site.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And then we go to route web, and then we'll do a sites.secure route get site/secure. Buntino. All right, so in theory, this is going to be a dump and die showing us whether we got the right thing back. Route as. Oops. See, this is how old I am, is that these things that have been named like multiple things over time, I never get them right. All right. Oh, that's a nice little dump when you throw it in there. I think that's not helpful. All right, so let's drop the dump and just see if it's right. How about that?
Yeah, just return it. Yeah.
All right. /symposium app.test. So we got to drop the TLD as well. Yeah, I was saying earlier, Philippe wrote that I should have. Hey, Gummy Bear, I should have had Ray going on here, but I don't. All right. So I'm trying to think if there's any easy way. I mean, we can probably get the TLD off of Valet. Let's see. It wouldn't be in Valet site though. I'm trying to remember where we actually have the TLD, because we've got a TLD command, so we certainly have it. I'm also just trying to look here to see if we can pull it out of here when we're getting the links. Like it, rather than doing this.
Could you just try running Valet secure symposium, whatever the link name .test was?
Oh, and see if it works.
I mean, maybe Valet is just smart enough to strip that out.
Yeah, we can just try it. Let me close out the one where I was. Okay. So we do Valet secure symposium app.test. I guess I'm not Valet trusted on this one.
Yep.
I've always got test versions of Valet running, so let's just do this. All right. So, but meanwhile, I was thinking all the stuff that we pull into our links object here, we're mapping it in right here, and I'm wondering whether we could. Oh, so if we want more data, it would actually have to be more data coming out of the parked. Oh, no. So that's what I was saying. If we come to sites here, it's possible. No, sorry. Site here. It's possible that there's other things in our link class that we could pull out. Like we may actually have this thing that we want already accessible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just looked at the valet.php file, and secure takes an optional argument, which is the domain. And it actually has the TLD. So that should be good.
Okay, why is it... Oh, right, I was unable to trust because it threw an error. Okay, well, we'll just deal with that another day. Oh, I can't even do that. That is wild. Let's just capture this and then put it in a issue and then deal with it later. Do a real quick fix. Okay. So this is in... Oh, it's because it's running the Valet in our local, not the Valet in global. So let's get out of the one site on my entire system where it has Valet included as a dependency.
Ah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Because it's a composer binary. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's fun. Note to self.
Okay.
That's going to happen. So yeah, so what you're saying is we should rename it to not slug, and we may find that this just works just fine, and you don't have to strip it off. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you don't provide the domain, it just takes the current working directory and adds the TLD. So
right now it's not reporting it as secure, but let's see if it is. Symposium app.test. All right, so it didn't work. So now let's try. You look at this. The symposium app.test.test site has been secured with fresh TLS certificate. So yeah, so you got to strip it off. All right, so back to here. So right now we can do it. What we want to do is basically strip off .test off the end, and we got to be able to get our our TLD. So what we want to do is look up the... I was just trying to... So this is what I was doing before. I was looking here to see if we could, in the links method, which is in here, I think, can we get more back than just the 4 that we have? So if we say get sites, could we map in something else here as well? Is it possible for us to have... Here you go, see? Oh, but that's... Huh.
That's... What exactly are you now trying to do?
Sorry, I should be talking out loud. In Valet, I am curious whether we can make the sites, the linked and parked methods, return this thing that we want.
Yeah, but since we only have one TLD in Valet, can't we just
get it and strip it
read
out?
the TLD from the config and then
yes,
do a string
I was being picky
before or whatever.
Trying to not have to do manipulation here, but yes, we should. All right, so if I were to want the TLD, what would be the easiest way? Because I think we have like a read TLD thing in Valet somewhere.
Valet has a configuration class.
Okay.
I don't know if we can use it actually outside of Valet the way we handle it now, but
so does Valet itself actually just echo the TLD? I feel like you can get it somewhere. TLD get or set, yeah. So let's just see how it does it. I'll just switch to Sublime for this one so I can remember which is which. Where are the commands defined? Is it valet.php? I can never remember which one it's in.
Yeah, it's in CLI valet.php.
All right. So you can see you got this configuration read TLD, but like you're saying, it may be expecting other configuration things to have happened. It says when you new up configuration, when you new up configuration, which I had open in VS Code, it has a file system with files that needs to get passed in, and I don't know if that's that. Honestly, that may just be like an instance. It might not actually be anything specific. So you want to just try it and just see how it works?
Yeah.
All right. So we're in.
I think last time we also did something with these facades that Valet uses, so maybe it just works.
Okay. I just realized that I have a couple things open that are not in the right spot, and so I'm guessing that everybody has been chatting and not seeing it. So sorry, everybody. You're building the URL by concatenating site with the scheme and the TLD. So why isn't site what you're really after? And that's what I was looking at a second ago, Jonas, was because site, as we have it in the link, I believe. I mean, let's actually just double check. Let's actually just double check that.
Yeah, maybe it's that simple.
That would be nice, but I think it's not only because... No, wait a minute. Because the name on each one... Maybe the name on each one is just that. It is. That is what it is. Gosh. I was assuming that the thing is the top-level name, but really what we're doing is we're assuming the top-level name is right because that's the first one it returns is the ones that it's parked. But if it's not parked, the only way anyone knows a name is by looking at the name of the first one. So that... It's okay. Thank you, Jonas. That revealed a problem that we're doing here. So if I don't park a site, it's not going to have the right name. So let's look at that real quick. If I were to go to...
What do you mean if you don't park a site?
Yeah, so sorry. If I link it but don't park it, its only concept of the name of that thing is going to be what I park, right?
Right.
Or what I link. So we only have the only concept we have of a name at all for a site is literally just the name of the first link to it, which may or may not be the most appropriate name to use for it. So it kind of makes you wonder whether, like, if I link this right here as like Bob, should its name be Bob or should it be A, B, C, D, E, F, G right here? Does that make sense? Valet link Bob.
You have the windows once again over the chat.
Oh my goodness! Sorry, everybody. Thank you, Marcel. Okay, so we've got this one where the first link to it
Okay.
is named Bob, and we assume its name is Bob, but its name is actually A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Which is the more appropriate name to pull for a thing in that context? Is it the name of the first link, or is it the name of the folder? I'm kind of
So
leaning towards
how does it
folder.
work if you would like to secure this now?
Well, it's
Would
okay
you need to
because
type Bob?
yeah, you'd secure
Yeah.
Bob, right? But like
Yeah.
if you but let's say we linked it 4 different times, like Valet link Jane, Valet link Marcel. So this site is not Bob or Jane or Marcel. It is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But right now we're assuming that it's named Bob just because the first link happened to be Bob, right? So that's why I'm wondering
Right.
what maybe, and this is why we got caught up because we were thinking this is the name of the folder, but it's not. It's actually right now just the name of the first link. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, so
inclined
this
to.
should be the folder name, I
Yep,
think.
I agree with you. So I think that would save not only this problem, but also it would have saved us from that confusion.
Right.
Okay, so I think that would be this path instead of the first link name. So let's try that. all of them
Yeah,
should
that's the absolute one.
Oh, okay, got it. So do we have... What else do we have accessible to us? We have the path, and that's it?
Mhm. Yeah, but isn't that just base name of the path?
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, there you go. So everything's the same except for the one we just played with. Okay. All right, thank you for sitting with me through that. All right, so
Okay,
we need to now strip out the... No, we don't need to strip out anything because we literally just need the name. And we were going down
so
that
we don't
road.
even need a slug.
Yep. We were going down that road unnecessarily because that thing threw us for a loop. So site and list instead of link slug is just going to do link name. And then we should now get Marcel should take me to /Marcel/secure. Great. And that's unique, right? It's a unique slug in our whole application, so we can use it. So then we go to that routes web, and we need to make a Symfony process. So let's actually just click on it, Marcel Secure. Make a Symfony process that runs basically Valet Secure, and then, you know, site. Let's make sure we got it right, and then go build the Symfony process. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work.
I don't think so. You mean for the trust reason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the user running this would be PHP FPM.
Which should not have access to that. And then, what is it? Process run, I think? Oh.
Yeah, you need to provide the command as an array.
Is it literally just as that? I've not built a process by hand. And
No, it's each argument basically. So valet would be the first key.
oh, each string separated. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there's also like a process. There's a static method process from shell script, I guess. You can also use that.
From shell command line, maybe, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then without the array.
Oh, right, because I kept the array there. Right-o. That's why I should have DD'd it. All right. Do we get on Linux? Your run command is a different user. It's run user command. We actually do that in Valet, so it's possible. Hold on, let me dump and die this instead to see if we can get more useful. We get a code back, right? Where's our code? Exit code 104. I have no idea what that is. I'll Google that in a second. Standard out. Doesn't actually show us. Status terminated. This is why DuckDuckGo is wonderful, but not good enough. Interesting, that's not a very normal one. Valet on my machine, 104 is exit by signal. Thank you, Benjamin. But goodness. Sorry. Philippic says, Valet machine is running as my user, not FPM, seems that's the default. That is the default when you're using Valet from the command line. But here we're talking about using it as triggered by the PHP process, which is why we're saying it's going to be run by PHP FPM. So, I mean, we've got the status terminated, but I really wish we could actually, like, see what's happening. Well, I know you can see what's happening because we built it before, but I'm trying to think out what's the easiest way for us to just see the output of it. I think process actually has something on it.
Yeah, there's a get output method.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's probably using the wrong user, which is probably using the wrong PHP version.
Interesting.
Like the built-in one from Mac.
Oh, very interesting. So you mean Valet is
it doesn't
being
have the path
called by the
variable
wrong
and
one.
stuff.
So in Valet, we do some stuff to do that. I'm wondering, can we actually just call Valet directly? That would be interesting. Can we have Valet do it? So let's go into Valet and see if we were in Valet and we were doing
from
that.
the Valet object, just
Yes.
call the secure method.
Yeah. All right, so valet.php, and then we want to search for secure, and then secure domain. So site secure URL, which is the fully qualified URL. So it's funny because we're going to have to build the URL back. But okay, so let's just try that. I think, yeah, we already have Valet site, : secure, and then, so we have to build the URL. So URL equals site dot TLD, basically, right?
Right.
So the TLD was configuration.
Read.
And then I think it was like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, let's just make sure we're building the right URL.
Let's see if the facade works. Okay, cool.
Nice. And then let's run, cross your fingers.
That's
weird. Oh, because we didn't use the, that's okay.
Yeah.
We didn't facade it. Config Valet certificates Marcel test.conf. No such file or directory.
Oh, it doesn't need the HTTP.
Oh, great.
So no protocol. Yeah.
Right, because it's just the site, of course. Of course. So we're probably back in the same situation of using Valet in a context it wasn't intended to be used in. To swap old loopback address to new. So when would Valet loopback be being defined?
But I mean, even if we would get this working, wouldn't we end up having the same problem? Like trying to run a command with a different user? Because, I mean, it obviously doesn't happen on the CLI because you are running it as the right user. But
it's absolutely possible.
The problem would be the same.
Yeah, it is absolutely possible. If you're confident it's going to happen, then let's just talk about, is it even possible to do this, do you think? Or are we just kind of like... Because the thing is, what I was saying about this is that Valet in itself does use the whole, like, changing which owner it's acting as. But it may only be able to do that because we're not running as a PHP FPM in the first place. So that's why it's like, yeah, it might, and I don't think anybody wants to put PHP FPM in their sudoers, right? Nico says, in PHP Monitor, I run everything via bin sh, and I prepend the homebrew directory in the path, which uses the homebrewed PHP binary correctly. Okay. So we might be able to just take only that step and then maybe get to the point where at least we have the access to it. Nico, do you not then also run into permissions issues because you're running... Oh, because you're not running as PHP FPM, though. Yeah, you're running as the user. We can keep running down this line, or we can just say, you know what, is there any other fun stuff that we can do that doesn't require this? I'm kind of inclined to say if there's another fun thing we can work on that doesn't touch this issue, we might want to take a look at it real quick, and if not, then we can keep diving down here. This we could build. This we don't know what we can do right now. This we're kind of getting stuck on. We do the PHP versions they need. Let's take a look at that.
So, I mean, if we don't want to follow that rabbit hole further, there's what I started working on with the Electron app, which I think is really cool, is to have sort of site context-aware features. So, for example, if I inspect a WordPress site, or let's do Laravel first. If I inspect the Laravel site, I see the Laravel version, for example, and I can see like my database configuration and click on a link, and it would open up SQL Pro or whatever. So
yeah,
that
we talked about that last time, which is why we
like
built out that like
specific.
Yeah, which driver are you using, and then we can build those out. I think that's a great idea. So context-specific actions based on driver. So we could say, e.g., if using Laravel, you mentioned the table plus, what is it called? Whatever, the schema link to open database.
Yeah, not just actions, also just showing information. Like if I'm looking at a WordPress site, I want to see the WordPress version. If it's Laravel, I want to see the Laravel version. And
yeah, I like that. So let's do, again, we're back to the question of how the UI should look, but let's just, again, try to punt on that for right now. All right. See you, Joe. Thanks for hanging out. Khaled says, you mean a UI for Valet? I mean, what we're trying to do here is avoid fully reproducing both Marcel's and David Hemphill's Valet Lite. Although I think Valet Lite is not a UI for Valet. I think it's a self-contained thing. So I think that's less of a concern. But more just to say, if someone were to want to do things with Valet every time, so I think there's two options here. One of them is when you just type something that doesn't fit, what would you want? And if you do this, what do you get? And so that's when you get both the, oh, you might have meant this one, that kind of vibe. And then the second thing is maybe you would do this on purpose because, here are the regular tasks, and some folks are just more familiar or comfortable in the user interface, or even if you're more comfortable in the terminal, you may find that like seeing something visually might kind of give you access to something more easily, or it might be easier to click it here than it is to open up Table Plus and click the right link or whatever else. So, all right, so let's just keep throwing it on to this whole thing right now. So we've got the site, and then we've got the links, and then let's just do other stuff here. I can't do a full HR. All right, so we just talked about contextual stuff. So we could say a driver-specific component, maybe. Well, we could just do a big switch for now. Site driver. Wow. All right, so we've got a case for Laravel, and then end case, I think, is how it works. So Laravel, yay. Did the mess you typed in just get added as a site? Yes, it did. Totally as a site. I did on purpose, by the way. That was to make a point. All right, so for drivers, so, okay, that's interesting. What driver is it getting?
I think it's the class name.
Oh, okay.
So Laravel Valet driver, I think.
Okay. Must be type string. Oh, it's actually the driver itself, maybe?
Is it the instance?
There we go. Okay. Laravel, yeah. Great. So it's not end case. I thought for sure it was case end case.
I haven't used switch statements in Blades.
Yeah, I only did
like
that
ever, I guess.
Yep. I didn't even know it existed until very recently.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that I thought there was no end case, and then I did it, and then I learned there was an end case, but I guess I'm wrong. So, okay. So it'd be nice for us to have something that's not Laravel, but at break. Okay, that's what it was.
Break.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. So we have some Laravel specific stuff. So let's imagine what we would want for Laravel. We would want like Laravel version maybe, and like maybe DB creds or link or something. Speaking of which, we still don't have the PHP version, so let's throw that out real quick. Oh, minimum PHP version, I think is what it was. Yeah, button to open with code, maybe. All right, so we'll have to handle when it doesn't know its PHP version, but we are at least getting useful PHP versions right there. So if hey, CyberBob6. All right, there you go. So, or should we do that, or should it say something like unknown PHP or something like that? That's fine, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's fine for now.
All right, so we've got the idea that we're going to do this. So let's just kind of throw some useful little things in here and see what we can parse out in the remaining 23 minutes. What do you want to work on first, Marcel?
I guess Laravel version should be easy.
All right. I'm sure there was a faster way for me to do what I just did. All right, so one of the things we need to think about is in what context are we going to build? Like, we're going to have to build things onto the site themselves that are only specific to particular.
Yeah. So I guess instead of having the switch case stuff, we would probably have like a site object or a site class, and then we would have a Laravel site and a WordPress site, and those sites then have methods.
So would you say every single time we new up a site, it should not generate a site, but instead it should basically like be generating like, so we basically create I don't know, site types or something like that, and then you'd have Laravel site.php, and then in site you would say I don't know how to name it, but something like generate subtype or something, or for type. I don't even know how to do this, but let's just do that right now. And then basically figure out which type of subtype to generate and then return. So Laravel site would be extending site, but we might have some that because there's even like a generic site or like a valet driver, right? So we can just make this an abstract, and we'll never actually just have a
right.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then we can make it a private constructor. So let's see. So right now there's nothing, right? If you were to imagine this, how would you register which type it works for? Would you infer it based on the class name, or would you have a property on this just saying what driver it works with? Like this.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay. So
we could even just use the Laravel Valet driver class, and
of course,
instead of having a
yeah, because we actually have it available to us.
Yeah.
Good call. All right, so we would basically say for each site types as site type, if site type driver. I really wish we had the ability to make something publicly readable but not publicly settable. Driver name. I guess we could do driver because we're not actually going to need it. All right, so driver. Oh, we don't know our driver yet, do we?
Does this actually belong, like in this for each that you have there, site types?
I mean, yeah, I feel like we got to
that?
figure out where this goes. Well, we need
Yeah.
site types is basically going to be all the classes in here, right? Are you saying that it makes sense that we may want a separate class to do this work right here?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing too. So totally agreed. Because I think that this driver thing is just yet another reason why that would make sense to be somewhere else. So what would you name this class? You want to call it a site manager, don't you?
It was going on in my mind, but
yeah, let's just do it for now, and then we'll rename it if it makes sense. Site manager.php. Okay, so our site manager will have this for sure, and we have to make it public again. That's fine. We also just made a driver, so we can do abstract function driver.
Yep.
And then we also had an abstract protected driver, I think was what it was. Oh, how does that work? Do we not even have abstract properties? Am I making that up in my mind?
Protect? Yeah. Yeah.
Properties cannot be declared abstract.
Would just be protected, right?
Right. I don't know why I always get abstracts. Hey, Yuzniel. I always get, hey, Arn. I always get what we have accessible as interfaces. Oh, yeah, it does have to be driver name because you see we've already got driver there. Ooh, this is interesting. Well, you know what? Actually, because I think that this driver, we actually don't need this on the thing anymore, right? Because we never need to infer it.
Yeah, because we have actual implementations.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we can keep it as an abstract. So now in Site Manager, we do need the ability to get the driver off of a given site. Because it's not a site yet, right? It's only a path. I don't know if we need links. Do you think we need links for assign?
I think we do it right now so that we have the for the URL.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Valet driver is this. Sorry if I'm bouncing around a lot. Slow me down if I'm being unhelpful. All right.
Will auto-completion IntelliSense come to Tinkerwell? Yeah. Most likely in version 3 because this requires quite a lot of rewrites. I started switching the current editor, which is CodeMirror, to Monaco, and then we can do basically what VS Code is doing. But this is going to take a while, but it's coming.
So get all files in site types, add to site types. Right, and then we do for each site type is site type if site type driver, which still exists.
I'm wondering if we can maybe reuse what Valet is basically doing the same thing, right? It takes all the drivers and then maps it to whatever you're serving. So maybe we can, instead of getting our files, get all the drivers that Valet knows about, loop over them, and then search is a site type available for this driver.
And do that once at the beginning, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, but at some point that might be a little bit of a performance optimization, but at some point we still need to compare the current one against it, right? But you're thinking basically make like a map here? Okay.
Yeah, but don't we need a map? Isn't that
we don't necessarily. So, well, let's imagine what you're talking about. So basically, iterate over. I think I might do it the opposite way, right? For every, basically.
So you want to dynamically detect.
That's what I was doing, but I think it's fine to do it once at the instantiation of the site manager class, since we're gonna have to do it a whole bunch of times, right? But like in the end, what if you imagine drivers to types? We know a site's driver by doing this, right? Like this is the only way we can figure out a site's driver. So on the left side, right here, we're going to say Laravel Valet driver, and then the right side here, we could say Laravel site, which is our site type. So we can generate it on the fly, or we can generate it once at the beginning. But in the end, we basically need to be able to say, once we get the driver. So what we'll do here is we'll say site driver equals this site driver path links, and then return array. Wait, we can use the new syntax now. No, because we want to support old PHP. Get this drivers to types, and then the key, which is site driver class, and then the fallback, which is, oh, we don't need a fallback, right? Because we will, so we can actually just, if we don't need a, well, no, yeah, because it's possible we won't have a custom site type for some of them, so we do need a fallback, which is going to be the Valet driver one, right? So then, oh, it won't be Valet driver, it will be
Valet site.
Do you maybe want to call it generic site just to make it clear?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And we will go to driver, which is just the Valet driver, which is kind of weird. So maybe you're right. Maybe we should name it Valet driver.
So Valet site.
Valet site. Yeah. No, you were right.
Yeah.
I was wrong. As always. As frequent. All right. And all right. So we now have two different types. We've got a Valet one and we've got the generic one. The generic one will both match any that are being served by the generic driver, but also any drivers that are not mapped, right? Hopefully. And so Illuminate support ARR, okay? So now we need to generate this list right here. And also this right here is wrong. This name is, so let's see what this name was coming from.
Base name.
Base name on this path. Okay, so we can do that, right? Nope. Base name path. And then links would be the URL in the first one, which would be, I think links at that point is an array that has a URL property. So we would say reset, oh, except you can't do that, right? Link equals reset links, and then this would be link URL. Is there a cleverer way to do that so we don't have to do the temp variable?
Sorry?
Do you know of a cleverer way to not have to do a temp variable? We basically want, well, we know there's going to be at least one, right? So we could just say links 0 URL.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing we need to do is this oh, Khaled says, why don't you make an interface like Driver Manager? I tend to make an interface when I see a reason to have an interface rather than when I see something that's interfaceable, if that makes sense. So Modesta says, question mark default. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about using that. But we don't want to use too much new PHP syntax because we want this site to work for Laravel 5 or for PHP 5.6. So Khaled, I was saying, I tend to only use an interface when I find a circumstance where I need an interface, and then I build an interface. Or I think a lot of people tend, and it's nothing wrong with this, but tend to make an interface as soon as you see something that's similar. And what I found is that like most abstractions, whether it's an abstract class or an interface or anything else like that, you should use it when you need it. And then you end up with a lot less kind of cruft littered around. Jonas says you can use the thing after the params. It's not beautiful. Yeah, I think that's what we just did. So thank you. But I know you all are like 10 seconds lag behind us. All right, so here we want to say for each files in site type directory, or should we use inspection? Oh, yes, generic site does need to set up Valet sites. Let's use a real class so we don't run into that problem quite as frequently. So would you look up the files, or would you look up and use reflection to look up everything under a certain class or a namespace?
I don't know if we run into problems with PHP 5.6
On the reflection side?
Reflection.
Okay. I don't know.
But
so I would normally do
I
the
don't know.
files, but
Yeah.
then I would feel like I'm not a good enough programmer for using the files. So let's just do it. And we'll just call this file name. And then we'll new it up, right? So we'll say this drivers to types. So the left side will be the driver. So that will be new file name app site types / file name driver is going to equal the file name without the extension, right?
Yep.
Okay. So file name without extension. Is there a there's a way to parse file names too, like we could do with parse URL. What is it called? Or could we just base? Is it base? Does base name also pull off the No, base name doesn't. There's a way to do it. I've done it multiple times. That doesn't require regex or anything like that. I'm just trying to remember what it is. No, you don't need PRH to replace. No, there's definitely a way to do it.
Yeah,
that's what it
info.
is. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll probably rename these variables in a second. I just wanted our temporary variables to make it very clear what we're doing. Okay, so we can use file system, which is the file facade. Files in site type directory equals file, and then list, or is it all files? All files in a directory, and file starts from, I think, the root, right? So I think we would just do app / site types, like that. Maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
All right, so let's drop this and actually use the site manager so we can actually see it run. Hey, Stefan. All right, so right now we're creating a new site for every single one in, sorry, let's close some of this out, in routesweb.php. And so instead we want to do site manager. Just for now, we'll probably facade it. And what did I name it? Site. What would you name it in a manager?
I would probably let the site manager return all sites.
Oh, so you wouldn't give it the ability to just match a single one? I like the idea of managing a single one only because that ways you can pass in linked, or you can pass in parked, or you can pass it in like on the detail page. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Now I also get why you had this performance issue in mind.
Yeah, because
if we only do it once,
it's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jonas says escape the $sign. Okay. Syntax error, unexpected double quote mark. What on earth am I doing wrong here? It's obviously this right here, but why is this a problem?
Doesn't this also need to be in curly brackets then? If you would do it in one line?
Does it? I think my brain is shut off. Like, I think I'm switching. I must be switching. What's it called? Like languages in my brain, about which I've been writing a lot of JavaScript lately. So. All right, so now it says it can't find the app site types directory. So what is file based on? I thought it was the root, and I don't remember now. I know the file system is the main facade that everything uses, but I like to use file when I can just because it's a lot simpler. Hey, Christoph. Try to see.
Yeah, I also don't know if we need to pass in the absolute path.
We also have storage here. But app slash, oh my goodness, yes. We're working with directories here. Thank you, Jonas. All right, so it still doesn't like it. So, and it is under app slash site types. So it is, so let's switch to storage real quick instead of file.
Does it work if you just wrap it with the base path?
I don't think so, but let's just try it. Is it base path like that, I think?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, look at him go. All right, so for each of these, we really just want the relative path name. So is this a collection? It's an array. So collect that, map, we'll call this a file, and then return file. It's an SPL file info, and we've got relative path name. Oh, we're already doing that right there. Okay. Isn't there a helper app path? Yeah, there is an app path, actually. Good call. So we could do app path and drop app off of it. All right, so relative path name is not accessible, so we need to go look up the SPL file info, which I'm going to do as Symfony. I feel like, okay, so if I want to look up the SPL file info, is there a faster way than actually just digging in here? Oh, you know what we could do?
You could just type into it in the map.
Oh, in the map. Good call.
Or like that, yeah.
No, I love that. All right, so we need the relative path name. So hopefully there's going to be something that accesses. There you go. Get relative path name. Good old Symfony. I should have just tried that.
Oh, and there was also get file name without extension.
Oh, was there?
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Right underneath.
Do we actually need the relative path name, or do we only need the file name without extension? I think we just need it without extension. Hey, and it's doing literally the exact same thing we're doing. I love it. So we can do that, and then we can just say file name, and we don't have to change this one because I'd already not thought to do that. Braces, wrong. Braces. Wait, where do braces work? See, this is the thing. Is this how it works in PHP? I can never remember the PHP. Oh, this is the one where you're all saying it was escaping the. Do I have to? Is that how it works with this one?
Yeah, because it's in double quotes.
Yeah. Jeez, freaking JavaScript versus PHP. All right, Laravel Valet driver serves a Laravel site. Valet driver serves a Valet site. We got 2 minutes left, my friend. I think we could also say this drivers to types. Can we do this? Equals that. And then we need to map it with keys, right? Map with keys. And then you return the like this, right? And then it flattens them. Our class name is this. File name is file get file name without extension, which may or may not work inside of there.
Yeah, I think you can access properties, but not method calls.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. So that way we can probably now just do this. File name, and then file name with 2 dollar signs for some reason. I'll tell you all the tests in just a second. All right, where's this error? Oh, missing semicolon. Undefined property path. We've got path here. Where are we getting the path? Oh, right here. Valet driver assigned path.
Oh, yeah.
Base name path. Okay. cannot instantiate. You shouldn't. Where are you? Oh, right here. We got to do
Yeah,
the
we're
same
not
thing
using
again.
that.
Yeah, we changed it up here, but not down below.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is better or worse, but it's better because we don't want to have to rerun that constructor every time. Okay, and then here it's the same thing. Use site manager, and then this would be site manager site, and then call member function name on a string. So it's not passing back an instance. So when it calls it in the template and it's calling this name property, instead of site being a instance of site, it's returning back not what we thought. So let's go to our site manager, and we must be, oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So the class name is site type equals that, and then we need to return new site type. Oh, we have to build the whole thing right again. App site types. We might need a helper for this. Site
Isn't
type.
that already the fully qualified? Because we have the fully qualified class name in the array.
Oh, you're right. We didn't in the original, but we do now. Great call. Class name, and then we want to pass in the path and the links. Site type, not class name. Why not?
No. We're just in the array. We have the fully qualified driver,
but we're not fully qualifying the.
Yeah.
Okay. So site. Sorry, go ahead.
Wouldn't that just be class name instead of file name?
Yes. Great call. Find method name on Valet site. Okay, so Valet site, did we forget to extend? Yeah, we forgot to extend on both of them. I forgot to extend. I'm sure you would have caught it. Come on, thank you. Oh my God, typing when you're short on time and everybody's watching. Too few arguments to site construct on the site manager.
Or are you just newing it up without passing the arguments?
I didn't think I was. Oh, in order to get its driver, so what if we make this driver public static?
Yep.
All right, and then so we want to put that on site abstract static function driver. And you know what we could do? We could actually just say static function driver return self driver or driver. Right? Is that the wrong syntax?
Yeah, but we don't have that on the abstract class.
Right, but we could just say protected driver, right? And then we don't have to build it on each one because the method's going to be the same on every single one.
Doesn't that need to be static now as well, driver?
Yes, I believe so. Yep, it does. Thank you, Marcel. This is why I keep you around. You don't keep me from making a fool of myself, but you at least catch me when I am faster than the people in the chat can because they don't have a lag. Okay, we've got a null that we're running class on. So, because we're asking for the driver. Okay, that's in our switch, right? Which is fine because that's literally what we're working on.
Yeah, because that now returns the string instead of the instance.
Yep. All right, so real quick, what we want is that, and it's going to be the wrong switch because this is switching against just the, so this would be, what's the fully qualified for Laravel driver? I kind of thought that's what it was.
Wouldn't that now be the...
Oh, is it the site type now?
Site type?
Oh, no, it's a static, right? Which I think you can call on it, right? Can't you? On an instance? Huh. Okay. So we should have, let's just do this real quick. Do we indeed have the right type of class that we expect? Valet site, valet site, valet site. So no. So it's not correctly identifying it as a Laravel site. Can we fix that really quickly? What's your time like? Do you have a hard stop right now?
No, it's okay.
Okay, let me see. I think my next meeting is not for another 25 minutes. I think I gave myself breathing room today. I think. It is, yep, so we're good. All right, so let's see if we can finish this one last thing. Sorry, chat, I've been ignoring you. Someone says what VS Code theme that is. Adrian says use the resolve helper. Someone says, why do you need the inline? Wait, that you don't need the quotes for this? I don't know. It's definitely the JetBrains font, which I freaking love. I don't know what theme it is. I'll try and set up one of those uses. I think I actually set up a uses site and then just don't always update it. Yeah, there you go. mattstauffer.com/uses. If there's anything missing there, like the theme or something like that, or if it's out of date, just let me know. Hit me up in Twitter. All right, so we need to figure out why it's not correctly understanding for this particular site what the driver is. So site driver for the particular site is not coming back as the site driver we would have expected it to be. So this is a place it'd be nice to have Ray, but because the first one we have here should be getting the basic valet driver. Oh, it's called basic valet driver, not valet driver.
Okay. But that shouldn't be the problem.
It
right?
shouldn't fit. Yeah, it shouldn't
should
be
still
causing this
detect
problem.
the Laravel one.
All right, so let's unlink those bobs. So valet unlink Marcel, valet unlink Bob, valet unlink Jane, and so hopefully our first site will be Symposium, which is a Laravel site. So let's see, in Site Manager, let's make sure we're hitting Symposium. All right, so it sees it as a Laravel Valet driver. Okay, so then let's see what site type it gets. It's Valet site, which doesn't even exist. It's now basic Valet site.
So what's this driver's two types?
It's, oh yeah, what's it look like at that point? Good call.
Yeah.
I bet you that when I switched this to a map with keys, I probably failed something there. I always screw up with map with keys. Yep. All right, app site types Laravel site. So the class name driver property is returning nothing. So basic Valet site should be returning, it's returning null. So this driver, static driver method that we just did on the site class is wrong. Is it static driver instead of self? God, I never know. Yep, that's what it is.
Okay.
There's
So
a
self is using the abstract
exactly.
definition.
Yep. All right, that looks much better. All right, so it knows it's a Laravel site. It knows they're all Laravel sites. Fantastic. And let's just see if there's one just fun little thing that we can lock out real quick there. Where we say, okay, it's Laravel :space, and then let's just give this, oops. Come on, X. Class equals list disk ML6, like somebody suggested, so we don't have to throw out the individual LIs. All right, so Laravel version, let's see if we can just knock out the Laravel version. Oh yeah, so to prove this out. So the whole reason we built all this is because we wanted things on Laravel sites that weren't on other ones, right? So let's just say public function Laravel version. And so we have the composer on the site, right? Yep. So it's a JSON decoded thing. This composer's file. So this composer file, and then so we want array get. I think it's. Can't remember if it's which direction is it. Oh, I don't have it imported. That's why. Array is composer file, and then the key is going to be require dot
Laravel
slash framework.
Laravel.
But yeah,
yeah.
But like, how do you? I just realized I don't know how to do that in here. I guess we can just do that. Laravel framework, right? Which one is it? Why do I never remember which one's which? Isn't it framework? Yeah, Laravel framework. Yeah. All right. And then let's just see if we get what we want. Oh, nobody's actually calling Laravel version yet. It's actually not the version. This is the Laravel version constraint.
Mm-hmm.
And an S set, apparently. Constraint. Does anybody use S sets anymore? We were told that's kind of like going away. Do they still use it? In German class in high school, they told us that people weren't using the S set anymore and they're moving to SS.
Yeah.
All right. What was I just doing? I got distracted by my S set. Oh, Laravel version constraint is what I was going to rename this. And then we were going to go test it. Okay. So let's just try require block and see what we get. Let's go just get the file and see what we get. See what I'm doing wrong here. Okay. So, oh, it's not an array. That's why.
Okay.
So Laravel slash framework. Okay, so we want to do, I think we can use data get and then the exact same syntax. So we want require dot Laravel slash framework. And let's just see. I've never done slashes in data get or array get before, so I don't actually know if this is going to work.
Do you know if there's,
Hey.
I mean, for array get, we have to use the class, but for data get, we don't.
Yeah, there's no class behind it either. It's literally just a helper on its own.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I always wondered that. Like, is there a class we should use? Nope.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Alex says, what font size? It's font size 18, JetBrains Mono. Sorry, I would show you all the theme in here, but it's clearly not. This is not where it is. So, sorry. All right. So we can just pull this out of here. And then, boom, baby. Look at that. Nice work. All right, let's talk about what we would like to do next time. Obviously, we missed some here, so let's just say to do finish list. Oh, that was with the all right. Tippecanoe M86 data get is chef's kiss. Big fan. All right, things to do later. Make it easier to filter down to a certain type. Add a secure button. Consider design inspiration. Finish Laravel specific details per site. Add other driver specific details per site. What else did we think about, or what else is on your brain, Marcel?
Just some restructuring. So, for example, I think it would be cool if the site types would return blade components that get pulled in, or cool. Partials.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
I mean, I definitely don't want it to be in that
switch.
Yeah, the switch is bad for sure. Return a blade component slash partial. And now, would you return it out of the class, or would you just have a directory full of them that it's just named the same? Sorry, yeah, would you return textual content out of the class, or would you use the class name to just figure out where the partial should be?
I think I'd add it as a abstract method on our site, and then let each site type return
would
the
be
view name.
A view name. Okay, so add a method to each site type, returning the view name for their partial. I like that. And are there any other things adding? Yeah, I think we got that one right. Context specific. No.
Yeah, you have it.
Yeah, let's put it down here. All right. So any other ideas you want to add to our future list?
What I did with the Electron app, but I'm not sure if this can easily be done here, is I actually return. So, for example, to figure out the Laravel version, the actual Laravel version, I'm actually booting up the framework. So I'm pulling in the dependencies from the folder and then call the bootstrap and then just run app version. But I don't know if we can do this and boot another Laravel app within.
Yeah, inside a Laravel app.
Yeah.
I bet you inspecting composer.lock will probably be easier than that.
But we could use this for, like getting environment files or environment keys. I mean, of course, we can also just inspect the end file, but
yeah, it's at least worth seeing if it's possible, right?
Yeah.
So investigate, could we boot up each app to get useful information from it?
Oh, we can. We can just call an artisan command, which would run its own process. Boot it up, return a JSON, boom.
But what all do we get out of? Because we can't assume each app's going to have its own artisan command, right? So what can we pull out? Is there like a PHP artisan info about this application in JSON form?
Yeah, it would be something like that.
Because we could parse this out relatively easily. But anything else would have to be built into the framework.
Yeah, we can probably just
tinker. Sorry, go ahead.
We can probably just read the end file, read config files, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. All right. All right. So what do? We actually showed data on the page, updated the name. Oh, is it -- version? Hey. Updated the name concept for each site to pull from directory name, not first link name. Link all links are, well, whatever. Link all links in the browser. Start but not finish a secure button. Build out site types for each driver, pull Laravel version constraint, and display for all Laravel apps. Is there anything else we did today that was worth writing down? Used Marcel's fancy CDN-based JIT.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, come on. We got to shout that out. All right. Very cool. So a reminder to everybody, this right here, you can do this right now. If you go to your config valet and then config.json, you can go to a, where is it?
Default,
right, sorry. If you set a default key to any of your sites, then it'll display it. And if you want to use this particular site we're using right now, it's at github/titan/valet fallback or something like that, or fallback valet, I'm not sure. Yep, there you go. So I will push our latest work up to this, and you can work on it. Thanks, Benjamin. Thank you all for hanging out. There's a ton of people here. This was a really cool crew. Thank you all for all of your input. Marcel and I may or may not do another stream on this particular thing. If Marcel and I don't do it together, I'll do one at some point. Well, he and I will talk about it later, but I'm sure that he and I will stream about something in the near future. Maybe next time you drive. Just because I'm sure they're just tired of watching me type. So now that we can do not just my fancy OBS setup, but actually one of those other ones that you and I were talking about, StreamYard or Restream, it'll be so much easier to have you be the driver. So anyway, we'll pair sometime soon. Marcel, thank you so much for hanging out with me, dude. Like, it's so much freaking fun working with you.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for hanging out. We will see you all next time.